A new day, Allentown, Pennsylvania. So I had to pit stop in Allentown last night. I didn't want to get into Harper's Ferry at like 2 and sleep in my car. So I got a hotel, which is not something I intend to do beyond this. My dad grew up in Allentown, so I think I'm going to try and get in contact with his nephew, his 2 siblings. It's a bit of a tragedy, so maybe I'll tell that while I'm driving around, but I'm going to try to recover a little bit of a relic for my dad. Ready, buddy? So I'm leaving Allentown. I didn't go in to see my family. I just thought I would just try to monologue here. Just thinking, I'm looking around. There's just so much like strip development. I don't know if you can see it out there. Just these ticky-tacky houses. And I'm just thinking of like how much I want to get out of this mid-Atlantic Northeast. So ugly. It's making me think of just why humans, I should say generic-ass humans, suck at designing human habitat. Rows and rows of houses. No thought to how people move around with their bodies, how even the fact that we are car culture isn't put into consideration. And I didn't go into Allentown. I kind of wanted to see it, but I don't know the area. And I didn't want to just wander around in some gang turf or something. But I didn't see my family. My dad has 2 siblings left alive, my aunt and my uncle. My uncle Mark and my aunt Mary, according to my dad, is kind of losing it, maybe starting to have some real struggles with dementia, which my dad was talking a lot about for himself when I was home, just openly, and I had always kind of worried about that with him. He drinks too much and is getting older, and if you just don't take care of yourself. The thing that I really don't like is a lot of people in our culture use aging as an excuse for their deteriorating health. Now, no doubt after a certain point, your health's gonna fail. But we have that clock set so far forward in our country based on our shitty diet, the fact that we're sedentary, the fact that we don't know how to manage stress, and then the fact that our medical system, our industrial medical system, without sounding like a friggin' loon bat, is totally geared towards just trying to solve the symptoms on the surface, either suppress them with prescriptions or see if we can cut it out of your body with surgery. Expensive things that don't get to the root of the problem. And now, of course, modern medicine is a practice that we need and has solved many things, and we still need it to advance, but at the same time, so much of our health crisis is directly attributable to the way we live, the things that we eat. And so to hear my dad just talking about dementia and like his bad knees and just talking about, it's just getting old, but not actually doing anything to improve his health, is just very frustrating. He's never really remembered anything that we say. Like, to a small degree, he does. He remembers some stuff, but since, at least for a decade now, you kind of have to keep repeating things, and there's just a shitload of stuff that just goes right over his head and doesn't stick. Like, I always have to tell him what my diet is, the fact that I try not to eat refined carbohydrates, just eat plants and meat, whole foods. For him, it's just outside of his paradigm to think that you wouldn't eat bread and pasta and that kind of shit. Or the fact that there's sugar in everything. But yeah, I didn't go see my dad's side of the family. I was going to try to see his nephew, who is the executor of my dad's other brother, Joe, who my brother's named after, who died rather tragically last year. before he died, within the last couple years, he had a slip up, fell down some stairs, and hit his head on the basement floor, and wasn't found for like a few days by his neighbor, because they saw the basement door open, like one of those gangway entrances. Neighbor comes over, sees my Uncle Joe laying on the ground with his head busted open, blood everywhere. And then ever since then, he just never, like, anytime I heard him on the phone, he just sounded like a robot, like some verbal center of his brain had been very damaged. My dad seemed to think that he had sort of regressed to a more of an adolescent type of mentality. He talked about, he was in his 70s, but he talked about women like he was this teenager on the prowl. But yeah, ever since then he kind of became more irritable. My dad became less patient with him, started talking to him less and less, which I actually encouraged, because I don't talk to my family because they have toxic and negative behaviors, and I'm a believer that even if someone's family, you don't need to do that. So I told him that was okay. But then, like, last Christmas, he sent my Uncle Joe a package, a care package of just stuff, certain foods that he liked. Never heard back from him. And it had been a few weeks, I think, at least, before he started looking up his old phone numbers. And my dad he won't use the phone either, unless it's, like, for the doctors or something. So he had to go through his, like, old paper and find my uncle's ex-wife's number and called her, Cheryl. And Cheryl sounded really sad and basically told him that my Uncle Joe had died. I think that he was found in his seat. I think he was found just sitting in his living room, like, and I don't know if he was, like, blasted off of vodka or something. He drank hard alcohol. But yeah, pretty sad story. Just being in this area makes me just think of, like, old America and new America. My dad's side was the immigrants, so his, like, grandfather and great-grandfather were from Czechoslovakia. I think there was a decent community of Eastern Europeans here. Also, in that story of my dad's, they talked about the Pennsylvania Dutch. So there was already kind of a German base here more than English, as with elsewhere. I'm looking around, I'm seeing some barns with these hex signs that my dad has on our garage. Probably put one up here. But yeah, that's it. That's just a monologue for you. A little status update. I'm going to West Virginia, Harper's Ferry. See if I can go to the Appalachian Trail Center and find my friend Butter's picture. And I don't know if they have trail journals. I don't know if they have the registers there from where people sign in the journals, but I'm hoping I can find some artwork that he did. He did a series of comics that were controversial and inappropriate and pretty awesome. Still a lot of farms and rolling fields though, which always makes me feel good. If we could just keep humans from sprawling out over everything and just make our design nice and condensed,